White Sox baseball on Chicago Sports Network is presented by Toyota. Visit your local Chicagoland Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Let's go places. By Davis Law Firm, your Chicago lawyer. By Prevagen, made for your brain. And by Wintrust. Different approach, better results. That's Wintrust. Visit wintrust.com/here to learn more. Welcome inside the ballpark as we get set for a season-long 10-day, 9-game homestand, and the man who will get it started, Sean Burke on the mound. Last time we saw him, it was Saturday in San Diego. He was incredible. A season-high 8 strikeouts against a very good Padres lineup, and we're hoping more success as he gets this one started here on Friday night at the rate. What is up, everybody? Welcome inside the ballpark alongside my guy. He's Steve Stone. I'm John Schriffen. Well, we know what it is. Friday night at home, the boys on the field, they rock the red. And it is so fitting that Sean Burke, the color for him, he is red hot right now. Last 3 starts in ERA under 1. Over that stretch, one of the best in baseball. He is on a roll right now.
First of all, welcome to the best baseball show in television, and that is Friday Night All Access here at the ballpark. And Sean Burke has been absolutely brilliant the last 3 times out, and the numbers are certainly going to bear that. As you can see, last 3 appearances, 19 1/3 innings, 15 strikeouts. The ERA .93, that's outstanding. Only 12 hits in those 19 1/3, and the whip, anything under 1 is good. .72 is absolutely outstanding. He's been brilliant. The Sox have been playing solid baseball. They kick off a long homestand, and they'd love to kick it off against a very good Seattle team and win this one.
It is Friday night all access, which means we peel back the curtain, give you a look you don't get to see anywhere else. How do we start it off? Well, one of the keys to the bullpen, Brian Hudson, will be on the mic when we get back.
Want a twist on?
Welcome back to Friday Night All Access. I'm here with Brian Hudson. Brian, a really competitive road trip for you guys. Just what's the overall takeaway from this group?
You know, we're a young core, and I think we just got to band around each other. You know, I think all the energy we bring and just feeding off each other is what's doing it for us right now.
Well, let's get to you on the mound, just showing a lot of confidence, I feel like, this season. Where is that stemming from?
You know, just a lot of good off-season work, and then just going through a good plan with the pitching coaches and the catchers, and just kind of figuring it out and liking what we like and going with it.
Talking about a plan here, when you take a look at this Mariners lineup, what stands out to you?
They got a lot of lefties and a lot of they look like they're hitting for power, so you know, we're going to try to avoid that at all costs.
All right, thanks, Brian, and happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you much. I appreciate it.
Guys, back to you in the booth.
Good stuff, Brooke. Happy birthday as well, Brian Hudson. Bring him out. Bring him out. Sean Burke has been on some kind of roll as he leads this White Sox team onto the field here on this Friday night. Take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Seattle Mariners. This is a team comes in here second in the AL West. A little inconsistent play, but they've got some big names in that lineup. Cal Raleigh is off to a slow start behind the plate. Rodriguez, Naylor, Rosarena. There is some serious power in the middle of this lineup.
That's a lineup that should produce a whole lot of runs, but the big 3 haven't been doing it to this point, and Sean Burke goes to the mound. He's been brilliant lately. On for his 8th time, his 6th start, just under 40 innings, the ERA a fine .272. The strikeout and walk ratio is outstanding, and this is how he's going to use his stuff. The 4-seam fastball at 37%, backed up by the knuckle curve, which, by the way, has been one of the best in baseball to this point. Then he goes to the sinker, the slider, and the cutter. So we'll take a look at the defense, and it's Sam, Tristan, and Jared in the outfield left to right, with Miguel, Colson, Chase, and Munataka at first base. Drew Romo's got the plate tonight. We told you about Sean Burke. The weather's presented by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. It's 59 degrees, humidity at 61%. The wind, not that much of a factor, 8% in from left field. And we'll take a look at Dan Bellino, the local product behind the plate, called strikes 7% below Major League average, up to the left-hand hitters.
Ready to do this longest homestand of the season?
Pretty excited about it because this is where the Sox can gain some ground. They're 3 under 500 coming in.
First pitch, Sean Burke. It is fouled away. Strike 1. Brendan Donovan leads things off at the top. Into center field, it is Peters coming in, and he makes the catch as Donovan is retired to start this ball game.
Donovan, one of their best hitters, and to retire him at the top with Raleigh, Rodriguez, and Naylor coming up after him, this is a big play. Tristan Peters comes on, makes it easily, and a good way to start the ball game. You'd love to keep the pitches to a minimum. What Will said before the game today is he's looking for at least 6 out of Burke. He wants 18 outs and then hand it to the bullpen.
One of the big reasons for Sean Burke's success is that he has focused on this first inning. Chris Getz spoke before the game and he said, we can kind of tell the way his outing is going to go by the way he's pitching in the first.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they used an opener with him, because he struggled in the first. And when you tell a pitcher, well, you're not too good in the first, so we're going to use somebody else, it's a challenge to him. And Sean, a terrific athlete, says, okay, well, I'll accept that challenge and get a whole lot better in the first inning. And he's got Raleigh down 0-2.
Got him upstairs. First strikeout for Sean Burke tonight.
That was just a question of reading the second strike, because he expanded his zone, could not check his swing. He goes right back up there with a 4-seam fastball and just blows him away for 2 up, 2 down.
Big reason for the early success of Burke as of late is his command. He has been locating that fastball, putting it where he wants, getting ahead of hitters. And this is a good start for him on the mound.
Well, also, look, he's always had a very good knuckle curve. What he's added is a refined cutter. And that's really helped him, because on the nights when the knuckle curve isn't good, especially early, he can go to the cutter and still get some outs.
In the air to right center field. It is Peters calling for it. A 7-pitch first inning. I'd say that's a pretty good start for Sean Burke.
Can't do much better than that.
Over a century
left, followed by Munetaka Murakami, second in Major League Baseball in home runs this season. Vargas Montgomery, Mydrop, Benintendi, Kelnick, Peters, and Drew Romo has the plate.
There's a look at the starter, Emerson Hancock. 7 starts, innings 41, ERA at 2.59, and strikeouts to walks. One of the best control pitchers in baseball with overwhelming stuff. This is how he's going to use his stuff. 4-seam fastball, number 1 at 36%, followed by the sinker, the sweeper, not that many cutters, and a few changeups. And we'll tell you why he's effective. You see the sink on it. He's got the second lowest release point of all starters in baseball. Only Chris Sale throws from a lower release point, which means he keeps his fingers over the top of the ball, gets a lot of sink, and throws a lot of ground balls to go with an overwhelming amount of strikes.
Steve, it's amazing. Hancock was a placeholder for all of the injuries that have happened to the starting rotation, but he has turned into the best starter so far this season for the Mariners.
It's pretty amazing, because now this stuff is absolutely electric. And one of the things that Seattle teaches is throw strikes. They have a lot of guys in their starting rotation that fill up the strike zone. And it's that sweeper that has changed him from a guy who was just the starter to a guy who's now dominating some very good major league hitters. That sweeper has been outstanding for him, and it's effective against righties and left-handers alike.
Excited for the pitching matchup here tonight. 2-2 the count here to Antonacci. And the air to left center field, Rodriguez, one of the best center fielders in the game, out number 1.
We'll take a look at the defense and how they're going to line them up. It's a Rosarena, Rodriguez, and Raley in the outfield left to right, with Donovan, Crawford, Young, and Naylor. Cal Raleigh's got the plate. We told you about the talented young right-hander, Emerson Hancock.
Here's that man creating all the buzz to start this season for the White Sox, Munetaka Murakami. 14 home runs this season. Steve, the numbers he's on pace to do this year, ridiculous. 61 home runs, 123 runs batted in, and 123 walks if he keeps up this pace. In the air to left field, Rosarena at the wall. Get out! Murakami setting off the fireworks here on Friday night. And the fans are loving the early home run, 1-0 Sox lead.
But one of the things, and you can tell that Hancock is not quite as good tonight as he's been, especially early. Sinker ballers get better as they move along. But the first two guys have hit the ball in the air, and for Murakami, with the wind blowing straight in from center field, meaning it should knock that ball down, gives you an idea just how strong he is. So with 15 and 29 on the power numbers, this has been some force.
Popped up shallow right field. It is Rayleigh coming in. He will make the catch. And just like that, Murakami tied with Judge to lead Major League Baseball in home runs.
We'll watch it again, and there is a fastball, and it's right down the middle at 95. Murakami takes it the other way. You see the movement on the ball, but it had too much of the plate. With the wind blowing pretty much straight in, you got to really crank it to get it out opposite field. But this is one of the strongest men in baseball.
Colson Montgomery has reached in a career high 19 straight games, as he is clearly figuring things out in his first full season of Major League Baseball.
I think left-handers will have a much better shot at Hancock than the right-handers because of that release point. But the way to get to him is if he gets behind, because when he gets behind, he's very hittable. Opponent's hitting just about 550 when he falls behind him. The key is he doesn't fall behind too many guys.
He has taken a little more time on the mound now after giving up that home run. 1-2. And is in there, called strike 3. Murakami goes deep, his 15th of the season, and the Sox with an early 1-0 lead. Beautiful Friday night here at the rate. We start this second inning. White Sox with a 1-0 lead here over the Mariners. Great start for Sean Burke. Just 7 pitches in that first inning, and all 7 of them were strikes. It's time to take a look at the lines presented by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. We take a look at the strikeout totals for our 2 starting pitchers today. Steve, what do you got?
Well, I certainly like the over for both.
Hit hard. And that will go off the glove of Murakami. So Naylor will reach to start this second inning.
For whatever reason, Josh Naylor just hits the daylights out of it when he faces Sox pitchers. This is a one-hop rocket. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a base hit. You can see Mark Ripperger. He's calling it fair all the way.
Official score has not made a decision yet. And it does go as a base hit now for Naylor.
You've got to watch Naylor close, because for whatever reason, when he came to Seattle, he brought his running shoes with him. He wasn't that dangerous a runner when he was with the Guardians. But this year, he's 7 out of 9 in stolen bases, and last year he tore it up on the base paths. And with Sean Burke, he's given up a lot of stolen bases. Mostly it's been second base, and it's been 7 times this year, tied for second most in the major leagues.
Takes a peek over at Naylor as he faces Randy Arozarena. What's interesting about this Mariners team is that when the offense is clicking, for whatever reason, the pitching hasn't been there at the same time. When the pitching is there, the offense has been off. So it's just a little inconsistent play to start this season for the Mariners, as Arozarena is hit by that pitch.
We'll take a look and see if it got him. And it got him. Now you get their 2 best base stealers on at the same time, and Sean has got to look back a couple of times, because this situation kind of cries out for a double steal, but you'd think Crawford probably would be laying it down.
There is Vargas in on the grass at third. This is game number 889 in a Mariners uniform for J.P. Crawford. That is 10th most all-time in franchise history.
I think Dan Wilson is going to let him swing, and one of the reasons is that this Mariner team is not clicking on all cylinders offensively, and they can produce a whole lot of runs. There's a look at Dan Wilson.
Good pitch from Burke at 95, strike 2.
Crawford can't pull the trigger, but fortunately Dan Bellino can.
First and second, nobody out here in the second inning. And early on, Burke has been leaning on that fastball, which you could tell Crawford was late on.
Well, eventually he's going to use that knuckle curve as a wipeout pitch. This is a nice time, because if Crawford does make contact with that, he's probably going to hit it on the ground. And Sean would sure like a double play here.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Romo can't find the baseball as it gets out of play. Now, was it a foul ball? That's the question here.
They're going to meet. I believe they're going to meet to see if he got a piece of it. Was a good wipeout curve, but Romo could not control it. We'll take another look at it. There you see the knuckle curveball. Romo tries to backhand it. You got to get your body in front of that. You turn the glove over, you angle your body, you square up your body, and then if it hits you, it's going to roll forward. That technique wasn't great. It was a tough pitch to handle, no doubt, but they get a strikeout and both base runners move up.
So it is ruled a strikeout and a wild pitch, allowing both runners to advance. And that breaking ball, strike 1 to Luke Raley.
Will Venables decided to keep the infield back in the middle. He's going to concede 1 run. He just assumed the ball not sneak through when you get 2.
Burke getting a little extra on that one at 96 miles per hour.
That was a good time for the elevated fastball, because if you throw it up and out of the zone, either you get a swing, or if there is contact, he's going to pop it straight up.
Oh, 2 pitch. Breaking ball and foul.
That was a rocket. Unfortunately, with Mark Ripperger on the call, that one went to the right of the line, which for the Sox was the right side.
Sean Burke takes a little extra time between pitches here. Oh, 2.
I want to get that one a little higher than he got it. You saw Romo at the last instant elevate his glove somewhat.
Romo urging on Sean Burke. Try to finish off Raley here. Comes to the plate. Fastball up and away, ball 1.
It was a good high fastball. Now that you've elevated his sight line, if he throws a knuckle curve, Romo's got to make sure he smothers it.
1-2. Fastball buy-in. 3rd strikeout for Burke.
This one a little more enticing. It's still off the plate, but it's got a lot of late life at 96.
Let's go to Brooke for her scoop from the clubhouse.
Yeah, guys, there's been a lot of moving parts with this bullpen over the last few days, starting with Jordan Leisure sending him down to AAA. Will Venables said that they've used him a lot. They think highly of him, but they're not getting that effectiveness that they want to see. He needs to work on that slider, build a consistent routine down in AAA. Hopefully it's not a long stint for him. But then you add an arm like Trevor Richards. This is a guy that's been in the league for a while, pitching really well, has an effective changeup versus righties and lefties, just adding some more depth to this bullpen, guys.
White Sox are very high on Trevor Richards and what he can bring to this bullpen. The goal is to get at least 6 from Burke and then hand it off. He had first and second, nobody out. It's now second and third with 2 down here in the second. Breaking ball in there, strike 1.
That's the confidence in the knuckle curve. With a 2-0 count, he just drops it over for a good strike.
8-hole hitter, Dominic Canzone. Third season of Major League Baseball here for Sean Burke. Really starting to hit his stride here for the White Sox. And he gives up the walk, and the bases are now loaded. And he will face bottom of the order, Cole Young, who has really come on and has emerged to be one of the best second basemen in the American League so far this year.
There's 7 guys who will swing from the left side against Burke, which makes it a pretty tough night. You have to make great pitches.
2 outs here in this top of the second. White Sox 1-0 lead this half inning. It is brought to you by Wintrust. Young, former 21st overall pick by the Mariners in 2022. His second year in Major League Baseball this season. And that one hit him, so that will score a run.
If you got a padded up lead elbow, you just don't rush to get out of the way of these, because you know you're probably going to get hit. You know that it will produce a run, and it's not going to hurt you at all.
So the second batter that Burke has hit in this second, along with a walk. And the lineup turns over to Brendan Donovan, who came off the injured list today here for the Mariners. He was out with a left groin injury. Before his injury, he was hitting .304.
You certainly don't want to get to Cal Raleigh, who's in the on-deck circle. Despite the fact that he's off to a slow start, he's still very dangerous.
0-2 from Burke. Ooh. Right on the microphone.
Try to throw that one by him, and a good place again is throw just a little bit higher. You got him pretty much in swing mode. Let's see what they decide to go to.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. After a 7-pitch first inning, a ton of pitches coming up here in the second for Burke. One ball, 2 strikes. And this next one will be number 30 of this second inning for Burke.
Burke tried to go up there, but that was a little too high.
Burke trying to limit the damage with the bases loaded. Into center field, it is Peters waiting on it, and that'll do it. The Mariners score one off the hit by pitch, and this game is tied.
Chase Meidroth with a 7-game hitting streak. 10 for 28. The on-base percentage over 400. The slugging percentage over 500. And 7 runs in that streak. So hopefully more of the same here tonight.
I dapped him up as I was walking through the clubhouse today. Noticed had a little mark on the nose today. Last game in Anaheim, slid into second base, and his face hit the ground. But he said, my lips a little cut up, nose a little banged up, but he is good to go. He's a gamer.
Looks good on him. That's kind of the way he plays. Sam Antonacci, the same type of player.
We've loved his aggressiveness at the plate. Over the course of that 7-game hitting streak, hitting .357, including a home run. And it's why Will Venable has decided to drop him in the order. Now that he's able to drive the ball now, they like to have him extending the lineup, having him more towards the middle to keep things going.
Well, he should improve on those 5 runs batted in if he's going to stay in this spot. Nice job of checking it up, because that was a good sweeping breaking ball. His slurve looked like a strike for a long time before dipping out of the zone.
Two-two to Meidroth. So White Sox team that finished 3-3 on the road trip, winning a series in San Diego. A lot of people thought that was going to be the biggest test, and the White Sox took 2 of 3 against the Padres.
Funny game. You win the series from a team that's really good. You sweep the team you're going to play next, and then you lose 2 of 3. So Will realizes that there were a lot of positives in that trip. He feels he might have left one on the table, but that's the way baseball is.
Meidroth chases that one out of the zone. Strike 3. Time for some news and notes. Let's go to Connor.
It is 15 straight at home for the Cubs, John, and they lead the NL Central by 3.5 games. They have the 4th best run differential in all of baseball. Mickey Moniak is a former 1st overall pick, 2016 by the Phillies. He does his hitting in Coors Field now for the most part, and that'll help your power numbers. Really good matchup in the good land with Fried and Mizorowski. Both of those guys look like Cy Young contenders. It's early, but they can pitch.
All right, here's Benintendi. He will fly out for out number 2. Steve, another piece of news we saw and we were both really shocked by. The Diamondbacks have decided to DFA Alek Thomas, and they will call up their #1 prospect, Ryan Waldschmidt, who was the 31st overall pick in 2024.
Well, we saw Alek as the homer to left center field, and being a left-hand hitter, that's a pretty good trick in that ballpark. He can really get him alley to alley. He's a defensive specialist with very good speed, good base stealer, and a guy that I don't think will be on the shelf too long.
Local product.
He is that.
Always plays well in Chicago.
No doubt. And can cover everything in the outfield.
Here's Jared Kelenic, who has been getting the majority of the playing time in right field, with a couple of the outfielders still on the injured list for the White Sox.
I've talked to a lot of general managers over the years, and one thing they told me is there's a lot of #1 draft picks out there that never really achieve what they want to achieve with the team that drafts them, and sometimes it's 2 teams. But if they were drafted #1, it was for a reason. They have a whole lot of talent, and you never know when the light's going to turn on.
Going the other way, it is Donovan at 3rd, and Kelenic is retired. White Sox go in order here to end this second as part of Friday Night All Access. When we come back, we get to talk to the hitting coach. Derek Showman will be on the mic with Brooke.
Oh, yes.
Welcome back to Friday Night All Access. I'm here with White Sox hitting coach Derek Showman. Derek, Emerson Hancock is their best starter, I would say, in that rotation. What went into game planning against him?
Yeah, you look at Emerson and just like overall the Seattle arms, like they prioritize throwing strikes. They don't walk a lot of people. They like their fastballs, so it's a matter of like when you get into the box, you're on go early for a fastball in a zone that you can handle.
How'd you see Mune just take that plan and apply it to that homer there in the first?
Yeah, it takes a four seam for a ball 0-0 and gets a 1-0 sinker that's left over the plate and took advantage of it.
Just you get to see him behind the scenes. What are you seeing just that maybe the fans and people from the outside can't see that's just attributing to his success?
Same thing I tell everybody. He's just a worker. He's super intentional about his work. He's quick to make micro adjustments on a daily basis based on what he felt the night before or whatever he feels he needs. He's definitely a guy you don't have to like drag into the cage for work. He's a guy you've got to tell him like, hey, that's enough. Go ahead and get out.
You know, on this road trip, you know, you're getting contributions from him, but I feel like from every guy in the lineup, what does that do for you and just offering flexibility when it comes to constructing a lineup every day?
Yeah, forget me, right? I think like what it does for the rest of the guys in the lineup is it just takes pressure off of them. They don't feel like they have to get it done, especially when we're in down games. It's not having one guy that has to get it back inside of that at bat. It's just like having a good at bat, applying pressure back to the pitcher, and then moving it on to the next guy.
Derek, thank you so much.
No problem, Brooke.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Brooke, thank you so much. So Sean Burke has recorded 2 outs here to start this third inning. He had a 14.1 inning scoreless streak coming into the night. Obviously, it ended at 16 with the run scored back in the second inning. But it looks like he is back on track here in this third.
Well, usually in an inning where you give up a hit, you hit 2 and walk 1, you're usually going to give up a run, but he limited the damage and got out with only the 1 run in a tie game.
Little cooler temperatures. This team was out in California for a week in a row. Can that impact a pitcher in any way in terms of feel?
I think you're going to stay stronger. I really do when you come back. I never minded pitching in this kind of weather. I don't think that Burke does either. Big question will be, can you handle the man at bat who has just terrorized the Sox over the years? And it doesn't matter what uniform he's wearing. Most amazing part of his game is he doesn't exactly look like a greyhound, and yet all of a sudden putting on that Seattle uniform, he started to steal bases at an alarming rate if you're an opponent.
Hit this one hard. It goes into right field. Second hit of the night for Naylor, but a nice job by Kelnick will limit him to a single.
So we talked earlier about Cal Raleigh and off to a slow start. There's a school of thought that, look, everybody loves the World Baseball Classic. So you look at a knuckle curve here and you just can't fool Naylor. It doesn't really matter if you're wearing a Sox uniform, he's going to hit the ball hard. The Baseball Classic is really an entertaining situation, and it's country against country and everybody's pretty excited. However, it's disruptive to your spring training, and there's a lot of guys that went to the Classic, and Cal Raleigh is one of them. You have a disjointed spring training. You don't get the amount of at-bats, the amount of swings in the cage, and everything that a normal spring training will build for you. Some of the guys have gotten hurt. Some of the guys are off to slow starts. And not that it's not fun, because it is, but it has affected a lot of players, and Raleigh is one of them.
Flare into left field, and it's going to fall in front of Antonacci. The name that comes to mind is Tarek Skubal. Big name guy goes down for Detroit. What's the fix there? Do you move it the time of year so that guys can have a full spring training with their club?
You know, it's really hard to pick a particularly good time. I just think spring training is so important, especially as you move along in this game. Maybe for rookies who are just very young for the most part, it doesn't affect them near as much. But then again, there's not a lot of rookies that do play in the Classic. It's something that makes the internationalization of the game of baseball, it's a wonderful thing. But that being said, anytime you interrupt a guy's preparation for the season, because these guys are very structured with their spring trainings and they get lots of swings and they're able to do a whole lot of different things in spring training if they're in one spot all spring long. But throw in the Baseball Classic, you got to get ready earlier, and you just don't get the same type of prep that you do in a normal spring training. So yes, I know it's every 4 years, and I know a lot of fans like him, but every time you see a year where you have the World Baseball Classic, you will see some really dependable players get off to very slow starts, and some guys you're counting on get hurt.
Such a tough situation because it is such a big deal for the game of baseball. You look at some of the stadiums that are packed. What we saw in Miami, the fan turnout, you can see the response all around the world. So there has to be maybe a good happy medium. As that one missing.
You certainly can't do it at the end of the year because you've got the playoffs,
Nope.
and by that point you're talking about the World Series, and now you're knocking at the door in November. No time to play it then. So I don't think there is a great time. I think they studied it and they figured if you put it in spring training, it's probably the best time.
So a walk to Crawford. And the bases are loaded once again now here in this third inning. So back-to-back innings with the bases loaded for Burke, and Zach Bove, the pitching coach, will have a conversation.
He's going to tell him to get back to basics. I mean, the concentration was good, and that's two aspects of pitching. Number one, it's very difficult to get that concentration that you really need. However, when you start to lose the concentration, it's more difficult to regain it. And so the best pitchers around are able to take everything your five senses give you, because your five senses are trying to betray that concentration. And you have to know how to go back and get it. And I think that's what Zach Bove just said to Burke. Go back. Here's one of the keys. Go get him. Concentrate and get out of this.
Leans on the fastball, gets a swing and miss to start this at bat to Luke Raley. As Burke once again walking the tightrope. Bases loaded in the second. Bases loaded again here in this third. That was nasty.
Well, especially after looking at a high fastball. So you're changing the eye level, obviously two different pitches, and this one just disappears out of the zone. It's not a strike, it just stayed in the zone for a long time. Very enticing for a hitter.
0-2. This one is driven in right field. It is Kelnick looking up, and it is gone. A grand slam for Luke Raley. And the Mariners take their first lead here in the third.
That was an 0-2 fastball, and I'm sure that Burke wanted to get it up in his eyes, and instead it's right down the middle. It's thigh high, and it's a line drive rocket gone. Home run number 7. But watch it again. Look at the location of this. He certainly doesn't want to throw it there. It's his four-seamer. And that one, even on a cool night, even with the wind blowing in, leaves the yard.
That is the Lexus Experience Amazing home run replay. And the first grand slam of the season for the Mariners. Broken back, slow roller to the right side. Murakami keeps it himself. And that'll put an end to this top of the third inning. Well, the Mariners take a 5-1 lead.
What's up? Hey, brother. Sinker's pretty good.
Sinker had some shit too.
Yeah. It's always strong. But and then the sweeper's pretty good too. Had a lot of movement, like bite.
Bite or is it?
No, just more like sweepy, side to side movement.
Our thanks to Sam Antonacci. He is mic'd up for us tonight. And as the leadoff hitter, your job is to go back into the dugout, tell the guys what you're seeing from the starting pitcher.
Well, they want to know the movement on the fastball, and he said, you know, they're sinkers. And in this case, the mover on the sweeper, which is the two pitches he's using mostly, that doesn't have a lot of depth on it. It just pretty much comes straight across.
It is Tristan Peters leading things off for the Sox here in this home half of the third.
Well, the book is that Hancock will give up some hard hit balls when he's behind, and he's behind here.
Out of the zone, ball 4. This half inning is brought to you by Elgin Hyundai. So some speed on it first.
It's a good way to start it off because you got a pitcher that doesn't walk many people. In fact, his strikeout to walk ratio is among the best in baseball. So that is a rarity. It's number 1 actually, and that's a rarity. Falling behind and walking the leadoff hitter.
So Will Venable told us, right, his big concern with the lineup, be ready to be in swing mode because the entire pitching staff does not walk many guys. They will be around the zone. There goes Peters. Dribbler back to the mound. Hancock, they flip to first. And Drew Romo is retired for the first out here in this bottom of the third.
And in an effort to shake something up, Will went to the hit and run. So Peters on the move. Contact by Romo, but you stay out of the double play.
So you heard the scouting report from Sam Antonacci on the sinker and the sweeper. Let's see how he approaches his second at bat. Sweeper's been an incredible pitch for Hancock this season. Opponents hitting just 129 against it coming into play tonight. And the big thing for him was that he really upped the usage. Only threw it about 3% of the time last year. Has thrown it over 23% of the time this season. (2-0).
Sam didn't like that one, probably a little bit higher and outside than he would have wanted it. It was in the zone, but not to his liking at 2-0.
You asked Will Venable a really good question before the game when we met with him, and you said, what's one thing you'd love for this team to work on? And he said it's situations like this, runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I asked him, the positives and negatives. It was a 3-3 road trip. You beat the team that you worried about, and you didn't beat the team that you had dominated here.
Here's Antonacci, dumps that one into center. Tristan Peters, he'll be waved in and will score. An RBI single, making this a 5-2 game here in the third.
Sam really stayed with that sweeper very well. That's the advantage of running early. You stay out of the double play, and then Sam just gets a sweeper. It's outside and dumps it into center field. You see the break, but it stays up a little too long, and he stays right with it because he doesn't overswing. So when you're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, you have to manufacture runs. Will was able to do it with the hit and run. Sam was able to catch it in. His 9th driven in this year.
And look who's at the plate. Munetaka Murakami homered his first time up tonight, his 15th of the season, tied with Aaron Judge for the league lead.
And that last entire bit, the leadoff walk usually gives some problems to the pitcher. This time he ran, got in the scoring position. Sam cashed him in, and it's that kind of situational hitting that Will was talking about before the game.
There's a great article about Murakami today on ESPN.com. It's written by Jesse Rogers, who does an incredible job covering Chicago baseball. And he talked to opposing pitchers about what it's like facing Murakami. And it was an interesting angle that we haven't seen much recently. And he talked to Ryan Thompson of the Diamondbacks, reliever, who gave up a home run to Murakami in that series in Arizona. And the reliever said, all we know is the way that he's hitting here is different than the way he hit in Japan. Said he had a lot of holes when he was in Japan that are not the same here. He has changed his approach. So pitchers here in Major League Baseball are still trying to figure out Murakami.
Well, another fact is that everybody said, well, he can't hit the elevated fastball at 96 or 98. Well, he's hitting those because he's made the adjustment and he realized that was the book on him. And right now he's in the driver's seat. You got a really strong guy, but I thought it was interesting. There was a Japanese reporter who said to Will, what does he have to do to get better? And Will said, that was Chris Getz. What does he have to do to get better? And Chris said, he doesn't have to get any better. He just has to stay with what he's doing.
See all these people in the stands? You see all these Murakami jerseys?
That's exactly right. I mean, man's got 15 home runs. He's got 29 driven in. And what does he have to do to get better? Well, he has to be Ohtani, but he's not that kind of player. He's still really good and very effective. And bear in mind, he's seeing a lot of these pitchers for the first time ever.
Runner goes. It is swung on and fouled away. Let's take a look at that swing in the first inning by Murakami.
He got a fastball that was right down the middle. It was supposed to sink. It didn't, and the only time it sunk was when it went over the wall. Exit velocity of 106.2 and an opposite field blast.
Runner goes again out of the zone, and ball 4. That White Sox walk is presented by IDOT. You drive, you text, you pay. It's not a game. As Miguel Vargas steps in, he is 0 for 1 tonight. Vargas had his on-base streak snapped on Wednesday when he went 0 for 4. But we are really seeing the power from Vargas already this season. 7 home runs, hit 16 all of last year, so he is well on his way, this pace, to have all-time highs in the power numbers.
You're also seeing a team that got shocked with a 4 spot in the 3rd, who really believe that they can come back and win this game. And that is completely different than some of the Sox teams of recent vintage. This team never believes they're out of it, and they keep on trying to peck away and make sure that they get a little closer, because there's some thunder in this lineup.
Hancock wheeled around, nobody covering the bag at second. It's what makes coming to the ballpark so much fun every day. With the way this team feels, they believe they can win every single time they show up.
Well, look, this is a team that's going to get better, and will they be a great team? Nobody really knows. Probably not great. They're shooting for good at this point, but what they are is exciting. That's very important for a fandom that is craving that. And now we see Hancock. This is really unusual for him. He keeps falling behind. Historically, when he does that, he gets hurt. And he's walked to this inning, given up a hit and a run to this point. And now he's fallen behind Vargas.
3-1. Inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
Sox fans, never miss a moment, even if you miss the first pitch. New on the CHSN app, start from the beginning and hide the scores. Your home for White Sox baseball, so you can stream every game plus pregame and postgame coverage with Chuck and Ozzie. Get started today at subscribe.chsn.com. Chicago Sports Network, full stream ahead.
You know, it's funny, we were talking before the game, and Connor was there. We're all excited about this pitching matchup. We're like, oh my goodness, on paper, this could be a showdown. But it's on paper. That's why you play the games, and you just never know how it's going to play out.
Well, you see great pitching matchups, and you see what's supposed to be great pitching matchups, and as it turned out to this point, it's not great. And also the lowest walk rate in the major leagues this year. Skubal's on the shelf for possibly 3 months. And Hancock was second at 3.8. He's already walked 3, so he's got 0.8 left.
Colson Montgomery, bases loaded, slashes this one left center. It's got to get down and get past Rodriguez in center. 1 run scores. Antonacci's waving everybody in. Three-run score as Montgomery clears the bases. We are tied in the third, and the rate is fired up.
That's 26 driven in for Colson. He gets a first ball fastball. It's right down the middle, and this double's brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile double warranty. This slicing away from Rodriguez, who's a great center fielder. Not this time, and they're off to the races.
Chopper to the left side. Donovan charging, throwing. Mydroth is retired as Montgomery gets to third with 2 outs. Didn't you just say this team doesn't feel like they're out of a game?
They never feel like it, and that's what makes them exciting. The one thing our fandom has been crying out for, and will set the stage in spring training. He created the culture. They're waiting for some additional talent. They've got a whole lot of it now. And when you have the culture you want, you need your young players to start coming through, and they're doing just that.
Hancock gave up 3 walks here in this third inning. That's a season high, and all 3 of those walks have come around to score.
That one hurt a little bit. And Dan Bellino comes out to give Benny a chance to try to shake it off. That's the sweeper that just moves inside on the left-hand hitters and seems to follow you. Fortunately for Andrew, he caught it off that shin guard. Still doesn't feel good, but it feels a lot better.
Way inside. Somehow it missed Benintendi.
As you can see, the low release point, that's what makes him effective. However, the ball isn't sinking quite as well as it has during the course of this year for Hancock.
Popped up into shallow center. It is Crawford, the shortstop, makes the catch. Mariners score 4 in the top half. White Sox respond with 4 of their own. And Will Venable, he will be on the mic with Brooke when we come back.
Welcome back to Friday Night All Access. I'm here with Will Venable. Will, when Hancock is struggling with his command, what do you like about how your guys capitalized there?
Yeah, they forced him in the zone, had some really quality at bats. Good job making swing decisions, and then Colson with a big hit.
What do you want to continue to see from this lineup just to keep the pressure on?
Yeah, just keep moving the ball forward. You know, the fastball is going to be aggressive in the zone, so we got to be ready to hit it, but they're also making good swing decisions.
Sean, how do you want to see him respond here on the mound?
Yeah, fastball command for Sean, some walks in there, a couple hit by pitches, and then obviously some base hits as well. So just got to continue to be aggressive with the fastball.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Brooke, thank you so much. Will Venable on the mic as part of Friday Night All Access. Brooke Fletcher, Connor McKnight, Steve Stone, I'm John Schriffen. New life for Sean Burke as this game is tied to start this 4th inning.
Real important for Sean this inning because his team has battled back from 4 down. He had a tough inning. The boys bailed him out to this point. It's a brand new game, and you might as well be playing a 6-inning game because that's what you have.
Cole Young, bottom of the order. Missing outside, ball 1. Cole Young improved his defense this year, but also has really picked it up at the plate. Goes down swinging there. Good start for Burke here in the 4th.
Looked like that was a cutter, and he hasn't been throwing a whole lot of those today. We'll take another look at it. As you can see, the last instant, it moved from the middle of the plate to the inside part of the plate. It's an off-center grip. You see the spin on it. Not exactly that hard slider which gets depth. I think that Young is looking at it going, didn't see many of those in the scouting report.
Top of the order is Brendan Donovan in his first game back from the injured list. Popped up right side. Murakami settling underneath. And there is out number 2. Top of the 4th. This half inning is brought to you by Toyota.
Part of being a good pitcher is understanding when a hitter has beaten you in an at bat. Last time up in the 3rd, Raleigh hit one right on the screws. Without the wind blowing in, that's a home run. Sean has got to make an adjustment. The adjustment, at least the first one, was a good knuckle curveball. So the last thing the Sox want to see is Raleigh, who came in hitting 175, start to turn it on in this series.
Came in over his last 5 games, 0 for 22. And he is 0 for 2 tonight. This is a guy who had been dealing with a side injury, missed 3 games in a row. And they were wondering if he was going to go to the injured list. But they tested him out on the field over the weekend and came back to the starting lineup this week.
One of the toughest things to deal with is an oblique. And this isn't a complete oblique injury. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to swing the bat. But he still feels it. And a guy that is as good as he is, if he's 100% healthy, he will start to turn it around.
Popped up. It is Colson Montgomery taking over. A 1, 2, 3, 4th inning for Sean Burke. What a view here in the south side of Chicago.
Okay, we got 1 out. Obviously got to go on the ground, right? We got to see that line drive through, okay? Can't get doubled off right here.
You gotta love that energy from Antonacci as Kelenic will fly out to start this home half of the 4th inning. He was so hyped for his teammates to score that he just had to remind himself to find the plate first.
Well, look, one of the things and the responsibility you have if you're a base runner, if the on-deck hitter is not going to act as a coach at the plate, because you have to get in line of the runner, and then you wave him down. If the throw is to one side, you wave him to the other side. But Antonacci was a guy that was acting as the coach, and that's fine. You get in the line of sight of the base runner, and there was a few of them, 2 more besides Sam, and he's waving him. And if the throw had come in, he's gonna show him what side to slide. That's very good teamwork.
Peters shows bunt as Donovan, the 3rd baseman, crashing, missing outside, 1-1. Peters walked and scored in that 3rd inning where the White Sox scored 4 to tie this game at 5.
Sweeper is coming back a bit to Hancock. That was a good one. Probably the best he's thrown tonight.
Last time Hancock was on the mound, it was Saturday against Saturday struck out 14 on the mound. It was a career high for him. As Peters in the air to left field, Arozarena doesn't have to move much for out number 2. What a beautiful shot here above right field. Hope you're settled into the booth here, because we're going to be here for quite some time here.
This half inning is brought to you by Davis Law.
Longest homestand of the season, so if you're thinking about coming out, enjoying this new look White Sox team, just look at the calendar. We will be here for 9 games over the next 10 days.
And eventually we get warm weather and it's before August, we're going to start drawing some really big crowds.
On the ground of the White Sox. As we're both bundled up here in the booth.
That's right. This is the last start as opposed to tonight. So for Hancock, it was just brilliant. No walks, 14 strikeouts. He gave up a run. Sean Burke also brilliant. 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, no runs. But tonight, the offenses have taken command. But both of these guys now staring each other right in the face. It's a brand new game tied at 5. And we'll see if Sean Burke can take this a little deeper in this game. If he can get through 6, maybe.
Julio Rodriguez sends this one deep to center field. It is Peters at the wall. It is out of here. Rodriguez is starting to heat up. Home runs in back-to-back games for him. That's his 6th of the season. And the Mariners retake the lead 6-5 here in the 5th.
This is the big 3 on this team, and it's Raleigh, Rodriguez, and Naylor. That's a good pitch. I mean, we're talking about a cutter that's on the outside corner. And Julio Rodriguez doesn't get it all, but gets most of it. The wind now has died down considerably, and so it's become much more hitter friendly.
Second time we've seen the Trident come out tonight. The home run celebration for the Mariners.
Early in the game, that's not out.
This one will stay in the ballpark. Josh Naylor flies to center, and the first out here in the top half of the 5th inning.
Follow our Sox at ChicagoSportsNetwork.com, presented by Nationwide Insurance Agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side.
First time that Sean Burke has ever retired Josh Naylor in his career, so that's a big out. As Randy Rosarena steps in. And Harmon Graham past the dive of Vargas at third. So a 1-out single for Rosarena.
I got to believe that he's going to be running in this situation. It's a fastball down. It's a strike. And Miguel just can't get to it. So it sets up perhaps their best base stealer. See what he can do here. So he's not going to be able to do much of anything against Burke. Looks like Will is coming out. And with 6 on the board and a 1-run deficit, Will goes to the pen. Sean Burke walks off. As he does, Will step out. And we'll be back. New pitcher in the ball game. It is Sean Newcomb, who's on for the 16th time. His ERA is a very respectable 3.6. See the rest of the numbers. 30% chase rate. That's pretty good. He inherits Randy Rosarena at first base. See if he can control the running game.
First pitch from Newcomb is in there. Strike 1. As this Seattle team is starting to heat up. They're coming off of a series win over the Braves, where they took 2 of 3 from Atlanta. And that's the first series loss for the Braves all season long. That's how good Atlanta has been this year.
Now, the Braves have been very good also. Dan Wilson knows that he's got a lot of thunder in this lineup. They haven't showed it yet, but it is there.
Fangraphs projected the Mariners to be 89-73 after this team was just a win away from getting to the World Series last year.
Long way to go in this one, and if the hitting comes around to support what probably is as good a starting rotation as there is in baseball, they should be fine. Maybe the best stuff on this staff is Brian Wu, and I don't think we're going to see him, which is a good thing. So Wilson has an embarrassment of riches in the starting rotation.
Runner goes. It is swung on. It'll fall into right field as Arozarena continues on to third after the single from J.P. Crawford.
The Mariners go to the hit and run. And Crawford, after looking at a couple of sweepers, gets a fastball. He's off to a slow start this year, but this is a well-timed hit and run. So runners at the corners and only one out.
Runner goes, throw down. Got him. Drew Romo guns down Crawford.
Well, somewhere in there, Arozarena has got to at least come down the line. He was standing on the third base bag. The throw is right there, and I'm not sure why Randy decided he wanted to go back to the bag at third, but a good tag and a big out at second base. Nice throw by Drew.
So there's out number 2. As Raley, who hit a grand slam his last time up, will ground out. Nice job by Sean Newcomb. But it was Julio Rodriguez with the home run, and the White Sox trail. When we come back, Anthony Kay, starting pitcher for the White Sox, will be on the mic with Brooke.
Welcome back to Friday Night All Access. I'm here with Anthony Kay, who gets the start tomorrow. Anthony, the night before a start, what does that look like for you and just how you're approaching and studying this lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little difficult, obviously, because, you know, Burke's a righty, so obviously, you know, they're going to have a different approach, but kind of just see, you know, what they're, you know, triggering on and, you know, what they're going after, and then I'll kind of, you know, look at the scouting report and all that by myself tonight and, you know, kind of see what I want to do against them.
How much attention are you giving a guy like Josh Naylor and even Julio Rodriguez?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are the two big guys that, you know, you want to, you know, neutralize, and, you know, obviously I'm going to watch Newcomb here pretty intently and see what he's doing to him and kind of see how to attack him.
After your last start, you told me that you felt like you were really in control. What felt different for you compared to your earlier starts?
Yeah, it was just, you know, attacking the zone, you know, getting into good pitchers counts, you know, only had one walk and it was, you know, like a 10-pitch at bat. So I think, you know, just attacking guys and, you know, making sure that, you know, we're in good counts and you know, getting soft contact early in the count.
Okay, so I asked Davis Martin why this rotation has been pitching really well, and he said chirping, and you're laughing. Why are you laughing? What more can you tell me there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm the biggest culprit there. You know, I like to keep things loose, and, you know, I joke around with a lot of these guys, and, you know, even when they're doing good, I still, you know, want them to be better. So, you know, Davis went 7 shutout the other day, and I was like, why didn't you go 8? So, you know, just trying to, you know, keep things loose with everyone and you know, just trying to, you know, kind of chirp them a little bit, hopefully getting them a little bit better.
I love it. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Guys, back to you.
Pitchers always having fun with each other, right?
Well, it's a competition, and when you see one guy, especially a guy who throws with the same arm you throw, when he does well, you want to do just as well. And like everything else, we said hitting was contagious, hitting home runs is contagious, and when the starting rotation is going well, every guy wants to do a little bit better when he goes out there.
Tell you a guy who's feeling pretty good at the plate right now. You are looking at him. Munetaka Murakami, a home run in his first at bat of the night. It was a 1-0 White Sox lead at that point. Facing an 0-2 hole here against the starter. Chris Getz is so good with us, general manager of the White Sox, and I asked him today, I was like, you talk to other guys during the week. I mean, has anybody talked to you about your signing of Murakami? He said, yeah, he admitted there was another GM around the league who called him this week And the GM said, congratulations, because you beat the industry. Everyone else thought that Murakami was going to be a miss, and the White Sox knew that he was going to be a hit. Goes down swinging there, and there's 2 away here in this 5th. This half inning is brought to you by Prevagen. Chris Getz said when he looked at the numbers and the analytics, yes, he wasn't facing Major League Baseball pitching, but we felt like his skills would transfer over here to Major League Baseball, and also the way that he plays the game. Murakami just has this edge about him that everyone has seen, even when he runs the bases.
He just is a prolific worker, and I think that's what characterizes a lot of the Japanese players that come over, and a lot of them are very good players who get better by sheer force of will. They work so hard. The fundamentals are great. Every aspect of their game they work on, and they work on it all the time, and it starts very early and ends very late each and every day, but the work ethic is second to none.
On the ground, goes off the glove of Donovan, and Crawford will put it in his pocket. Infield single for Miguel Vargas.
First hit of the night for Miguel. This is a good pitch, a sinker on the outside corner. It's low. A good effort by Donovan. And then after the carom, wisely Crawford just holds it, because he's not going to throw him out. And the only thing you can do is get yourself in trouble. He's been around too long to do that.
This is the man who got the Sox back in the game. A bases loaded clearing double back in the 3rd inning. Fans were going nuts. As Vargas scampers back to first.
Vargas does like to run. He's 6 for 6 in stolen bases. You wouldn't know it because he's a surprisingly big guy. There's Rick Riz, who's a local product, and he's been there for a long time. He's 52 years in the business, and most of them with these Mariners. He's going to retire at the end of this season. Told me something interesting. He said he thought Ichiro worked the hardest and had the best fundamentals of any player he's ever seen. Murakami's not there yet. He's got a long way to go, but the work ethic is the same.
Colson Montgomery gives this one a ride, left center field, but it'll be caught by Rosa Reyna at the warning track. After 5, it's the Sox down 1. Sox fans, in addition to WCIU, the U in Chicago, we want to welcome viewers tonight watching Chicago Sports Network over the air on broadcast stations in Champaign, Springfield, Decatur, South Bend, the Quad Cities, Fort Wayne, Peoria, and Rockford. Now, these same stations are home to next weekend's White Sox games against the Cubs, including here in Chicago on the U. Welcome to the party. This new look Sox team, we are having fun broadcasting. I hope you are enjoying it at home here on this Friday night.
It's Rob Refsnyder coming on to pinch hit. He's hitting for Canzone. This is a platoon system that Dan Wilson uses. Refsnyder's been around a long time, can play a lot of different positions, and he's a very steady veteran presence.
Sean Newcomb came on to get the final out in the 5th inning. It's a ground ball to third here. Vargas moving, throwing on the money as Refsnyder is retired. It is time now for a message from Ankin Law.
Hey Howard, I got hurt at work in the warehouse. My boss doesn't believe me.
Ankin Law has over 100 attorneys and staff ready to work for you. If you've been hurt on the job, in a car accident, or suffered a medical mistake, call 312-6-million.
You know, Steve, we've talked about some of the differences in this White Sox team this year versus a few years ago. Think about where they are right now, coming into play today, 37 games at 17-20. At this point in 2024, they were 9-28, And at this point last year, they were 10-27. And it's defensive plays that the White Sox are making on a routine basis that are really cleaning things up.
Well, then the fact that they're able to manufacture runs, and they also have more power than of recent vintage. And one thing to bear in mind, this ballpark is a power park. If you don't have power, it's a disadvantage for 81 games a year. In years past, a lot of teams came in with more power than the Sox. Now, when it warms up, the Sox are going to show you that they have as much power as just about anybody.
And that one's going to plunk Cole Young.
This is a third Mariner hit tonight. That is a curve. Catches him on the back hip, so to speak. Or as Tom Hanks would say, the buttock.
I definitely did not have that on my bingo card tonight.
Young will run. He's 2 out of 4 in stolen bases, so he doesn't run particularly well at this point of his career.
He said when things warm up, we're actually expecting some better weather throughout the rest of this homestand, especially when the Cubs are here for the weekend.
That should be some weekend, as the Cubs are red hot. I mean, they're hotter than just about every team in baseball. Won 15 in a row at home. Now, we're not playing them at their place, so we'll see. That'll be a wildly entertaining series.
It's always a better series when both teams are playing well, obviously, and that's what's happening right now. As well hit into center field as Peters backs up, and he will make the catch. 2 down here in this top half of the 6th inning. This half inning is brought to you by Hyundai. I mean, we're already seeing larger crowds come on out here to the ballpark here to start this homestand. Still a bit chilly outside, but I think people are starting to notice just how much more fun this team is. And there's not a giveaway tonight. Giveaway nights, you know, we will see some people here at the rate.
Just some entertaining baseball, because although Seattle is not playing like they want to, this is still a team with exciting players. And the Sox are playing real solid baseball right now.
Now, as my statistician Alan did point out, there is a highlight tonight. First Firework Friday of the season tonight after the ball game. Cal Raleigh is 0 for 3. Late on that fastball, strike 1.
Just throw some heat. It's on the outer third. Raleigh's a much more powerful hitter from the left side than he is from the right.
Mariners fans certainly had a lot of fun with Cal Raleigh last season when he hit 60 home runs. He'll ground this one to short. Montgomery throws on the move and end this top half of the 6th inning. Friday night all access rolls on.
Swing it. Is that move trash? Is that move trash? Just like a little dip forward. Stay back. You stay back. When do they start this clock? Is it right away? Yeah, right. Yeah. Feels like I have 0 time. Can of corn. Hey, Bert.
It is my draw slicing down that right field line. It'll jump out of play. A double to start this 6th.
He got a fastball on the outer third. It didn't sink quite as well as he would like. And Chase just took it the opposite way. No chance at all for Raley, and a promising way, 1 run down to start the 6th inning.
With a mark on the face, nothing is getting in the way of Chase Meidroth.
One way or the other, and this is the situations Will was talking about before the game. You got to move Meidroth at the very least to third base at the resolution of this at bat. And Benny is a pull hitter. Now what you try to do is you have to shorten your swing and just make some contact.
Hancock approaching 85 pitches in this outing, as this one has popped up behind the plate out of play. The best starter on the staff here for the Mariners had not given up more than 3 earned runs in any start this season. Well, that has changed here tonight.
He's also struck out only 3, and for him that's a low total. Pen up and going. Criswell and Simpson. Simpson, the left-hander on the right. Criswell, the right-hander on the left.
You also see that heater out there in that bullpen working, trying to keep those guys warm on this cool night here in Chicago. That thing is firing.
You know, they don't really need that. They're from Seattle. It gets chilly there, damp, you know.
Benintendi chases that one. Strike 3.
For Hancock, this is a good job because he throws him a pitch he can't pull. And at the end of this at bat, Meidroth is still at second base. You don't have to bring the infield in. You don't have to bring the outfield in just a touch. Now it's up to Kelnick and Peters to try to get him home.
Bottom of the 6th inning. This half inning is brought to you by St. Xavier University. Jared Kelnick looking for his first run batted in this season, with Meidroth at second. This one down the line and left to Rosarena. He will get there for out number 2. Has been one of the issues for the White Sox this season.
You move the runner along, and now it's a tie ball game. Instead, still standing at second. But Will realizes this is still a very young team, and they're going to do things like this. But that's all part of the learning process to make them into a contending team. You know what we haven't had?
What's that?
We hadn't had anybody tap their helmet yet. Haven't any catcher ask for a review yet.
No ABS challenges. You are correct. Maybe that means Dan Bellino is doing a great job behind the dish.
That's certainly a big part of it.
One ball, one strike. The count here to Tristan Peters.
You know, Peters has been hitting the ball hard. I notice he does not have a home run, but he's hit some balls that on other days would have gone out. Probably just a matter of time. We know he's a good butter, but he also stings the ball on occasion.
Grounds it to the right side. Young at second. And the White Sox with that leadoff double leave Meidroth stranded. After 6, Sox down 1. And head to the park for Miller Lite Baseball and Brews. You get 1 ticket and 2 beers starting at $24. Now you must be 21 and over with a valid ID. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/brews.
The new pitcher in the ball game, it is Tyler Davis, on for the 6th time. His ERA a fine 1.69. He's got to protect a 1-run deficit. You can ill afford to fall down much more than that.
Steve, we're starting to see some names emerge in the bullpen who have become very dependable, and Tyler Davis being one of those guys.
Well, the bullpen has gotten a bit better.
Ground ball, Colts Montgomery. He will backhand, sets the feet, and Rodriguez retired to start this 7th. It's time now for the GovX Hero of the Game.
The Chicago White Sox and GovX are proud to honor our hero of the game. Tonight we pay tribute to Sergeant Josiah Bartlett of the United States Marine Corps.
We always love our GovX Hero of the Game. 6-5 Mariners lead here in this 7th as Josh Naylor fouls that one off himself.
It might slow him down a bit.
Every time he has been on base, he has scored tonight. Singled in the 2nd, singled in the 3rd.
Certainly might remember him with the Guardians. Then he went to the Diamondbacks. Then Seattle to help round out their offense. Certainly brought him in, gave him some left-handed pop.
Naylor is in year 2 of a 5-year, $92.5 million contract.
They believed in him, and the knock has always been the defense wasn't quite what it should be. But that offense, and now the base running aspect, which has been probably the most surprising part of his transition as a player.
0-2. That fastball has been a real weapon for Tyler Davis. He can really run it up there. I was wondering if we were going to get our first challenge there.
It was pretty close. I thought it was a touch inside, and Romo didn't think that the challenge was appropriate right now.
One, two.
Drew had one of the bigger plays in this game, gunning down Crawford trying to steal. That could have been a whole different inning back in the 5th when they only scored 1 run.
Montgomery able to get there as Naylor is retired.
Bidding to go 3 for 4. Josh Naylor takes it up the middle, but good extension by Colson. Able to make the play.
That's why you want to have a tall shortstop.
Helps to be 6'4" and have some hoops in your past.
He idolized Derek Jeter.
Looking at his cap. Yep. 7 3/8.
Randy Rosarena has been on base all 3 times tonight. Make that 4. His 3rd hit of the ball game as Rosarena continues to rake. Let's check in with Connor for a trip down on the farm.
Prospect number 18 for the White Sox, David Sandlin, is working his way back up to a full starter's workload. 99 miles an hour on the fastball tonight for him down at AAA. Went 2 scoreless innings. Braden Montgomery's now AAA Charlotte. 3 for 5 last night, a couple of doubles, and you can see the line on the season at both AA and AAA. Question is there another level for Braden Montgomery this season?
Oh yeah, we know what level that is.
Well, the one thing the Sox did say was he will not come to the major leagues without some AAA experience. He's getting some AAA experience.
Rosarena just takes off. And nobody covering. The throw goes into center field. And now Rosarena, he's coming home, but there's nobody covering third.
Well, the problem is on that, the cutoff man has to be Murakami. Vargas has got to stay at third base because there's nobody going to be involved in the play at first. There could be somebody involved in the play at third. This one caromed off of a Rosarena. Rosarena wants to come home. Heads up play by Colson Montgomery, but nobody at third base.
It is ruled a stolen base E2 on the throw, allowing Rosarena to get to third. Tyler Davis looking to lock back in here. 3-0 the count here to J.P. Crawford. Steve, look at this jump from Rosarena.
Davis just wasn't looking at him, and we've seen that a few times, but not much this year. And good base runners will take advantage of that every time. He's 9 out of 10 in stolen bases.
3 balls and a strike. Powell fouled away. Big test here for Davis on the mound to try to keep Rosarena stranded at third.
Raley's in the on deck circle, and he hit the grand slam tonight.
3-2. Ball 4.
Zach Bove is coming out in a similar situation back in the 5th inning. Crawford took off at second base. Inexplicably, Rosarena didn't do anything except retreat to the bag at third. They cut down Crawford at second base. That was the second out of the inning.
All right, well, we have this break. Rate is a proud partner of the 2026 White Sox. The Rate app gives Chicago fans an all-in-one wellness app with tools to build financial strength and guidance for fitness and stress management. Feel better, live better, play better. Download the Rate app today. So first and third, 2 outs in the 7th inning. And Luke Raley, who hit his grand slam back in that 3rd inning. Steve, it was a shot off the bat. It was 113.4 miles per hour. That is the hardest hit ball here at Rate Field all season long.
It was a sinking line drive, and the only question is, would it be high enough to get out? And yes, it would.
Did he go around? He did not. That is Dan Merzel on the call at third. Starting to see Tyler Davis fall behind some hitters here with 2 outs. Davis, an undrafted free agent, 27 years old. This one is set deep into right field. Kelnick runs out of room, and it is gone. Second home run of the night for Luke Raley. A grand slam and now a 3-run shot. It is 9-5.
7 runs driven in, and I don't believe that he's done that before. We'll have to check it out. After falling behind, this one is exactly where left-handers usually like it, which is about thigh high and out over the plate.
Third career multi-home run game for Luke Raley. Steve, you always say you cannot fall behind major league hitters. It doesn't matter who it is in the lineup.
And both of these, the rally in the third inning, which turned into the grand slam, and the rally this inning, which turned into a 3-run homer, both with 2 outs and nobody on.
Ref Snyder in the air to right field as Kelenic will make the catch. Well, the Mariners put up 3. It is time to stretch here at the rate.
Welcome back to Friday Night All Access. Let's get to know Drew Romo a little bit more. What's one thing he says people would expect him to be good at, but he's actually not? He said golf. His first ever walk-up song was God's Country by Jason Aldean. And when it comes to late night food, he's going Taco Bell, a chalupa, a 5-layer burrito, and he said his fiance always orders a Mexican pizza. So gentlemen, what is your Taco Bell order?
Okay. Chicago's one of the best food cities in the world.
No question.
We're going to have to get him a better taco spot.
Well,
we're a big leaguer now.
Yeah, and you know, look, Taco Bell is good, and if I ate that 12-layer burrito, whatever it is he's eating, I'd be up for the entire homestand, and it spans 10 days. So we'll pick out something else.
Go to Pilsen. Pilsen has taco spots everywhere that will blow anything out of the water. Might have to show him a spot or two. New pitcher on the mound here for the Mariners.
Eduardo Bizzardo on for the 19th time, and he's been spotless. 162 earned run average, so part of what normally is a pretty good bullpen.
Mariners bullpen, an ERA of 3.14. That is second best in Major League Baseball.
And the key is the back end is Munoz, who normally is just a lockdown closer, but this year the ERA at 6. He's walked too many guys, given up 3 home runs, still has a wonderful arm, and they believe that this is the aberration. He's going to be better as this year moves along.
Hopefully the White Sox will put him to the test if the game gets close here. Top of the order, Sam Antonacci. Slashes this one to center field. It'll get down. Second hit of the ball game for Antonacci. And he is mic'd up for us tonight. Let's take a listen.
Easy first to third on the ground ball where he's playing. They all playing kind of deep, okay?
Dive for that ball in left field on a Rose Arena.
I think, how was your first step? Not great?
Average.
Yeah, I think you had a shot like if you kept on going and kind of went for the attempt.
Antonacci talking with first base coach Jose Lejer, who also does an incredible job with the outfielders.
And I think he brings up the point. Look, he asked him about his first step, which will determine exactly how you play the ball. And bear in mind, although Sam is doing the best he can out there and has made great strides, he's still a second baseman by trade, and so you don't expect him to get great jumps all the time. He will if he stays out there enough. But when a guy's lifetime position is second, he'll get better jumps on ground balls in the infield than he will on some line drives in the outfield.
Gotta love his curiosity, and he always wants to get better, know something he can do different the next time around. Breaking ball down, ball 2 here to Murakami. Looking for his first multi-home run game of his career. Maybe he can match Luke Raley, what he did earlier for the Mariners. 2-2. One away here in this home half of the 7th inning. And they check on Antonacci. That was close, but he is safe.
That looked like a play that Raleigh put on, and Dan Wilson wants to take another look at it, and he thinks they got him. I think they
Seattle
got him
is
too.
challenging the safe call at first base. The previous play is under review.
Looked to me like he got the body before the hand got in. It was a very good move.
All right, this is our Northwestern Medicine Manager's Challenge. We're taking a second look at the play. It's always a good idea to get a second opinion. Get yours at Northwestern Medicine.
There's the body, and the hand doesn't appear to be there yet. Now this might be a better angle for it. Hard to tell if the oven mitt got him back.
Naylor thought he got him right away.
It was a really quick move, and it looked like it was given by Raley, and we'll see. Not Raley, but watch Cal Raleigh. Watch his glove.
After review, the ruling on the field is
You see,
overturned. The runner
that
is
was
out.
given by
Seattle will
Raleigh.
retain its challenge.
It was well coordinated between Raleigh, Buzzardo, and Naylor. And Raleigh gives a signal. Then when he lowers the glove, that's when the pitcher, without looking at first, goes to first. So a certain amount of deception on that.
So the call is overturned. Antonacci is picked off for out number 2. To Murakami. It is grounded to the right side from the grass. Young. And that'll do it for the 7th inning. Creek, Chicago Southland, where the action never stops. Play the hottest table games, enjoy the newest slots, and celebrate big jackpots. At Wind Creek, there's a win waiting for you around every corner.
There's a look at Trevor Richards, about ready to make his first appearance as a Sox pitcher. Doing pretty well this year. A couple of games, ERA a touch over 2.
This was the move made yesterday as the White Sox have added Trevor Richards and have optioned Jordan Leisure AAA.
White Sox, Orioles, Cubs, most pitchers used.
Richards, 32 years old, acquired from Philadelphia on Tuesday in exchange for cash considerations. White Sox felt like he's a veteran arm, and they just wanted to add a little more depth into the bullpen and get Jordan Leisure back on track in AAA.
I knew Will, talking before the game, said that he really likes Jordan, that wants to get a few things straightened out as he goes down. I know they'd like to see a little more movement on his fastball. And they said, you know, there's some guys that give up some home runs. He's not concerned about home runs. He doesn't want to see walks ahead of the home runs. So that takes the count full. And Richards back in the count.
3-2. In there, called strike 3 and a challenge by Cole Young.
There's our
The previous
first of the
pitch
night
is called a strike.
for either team.
The batter is challenged.
ABS powered by T-Mobile as we take a look.
It got it.
Call is
He's
confirmed.
out.
Seattle has 1 challenge remaining.
So a good start for Trevor Richards. With the day off yesterday and the addition of Richards, White Sox bullpen reset back on track as this one fought off into left field. And Brendan Donovan will have his first hit of the night. It sets up the matchup here versus Cal Raleigh. Runner-up last year in the American League MVP race. It was a fun conversation, remember, we had down the stretch. Would it be Aaron Judge? Would it be Cal Raleigh with what he was doing as a catcher?
Pretty remarkable. It does seem like there is just a touch of New York bias when it comes to voting just about on anything.
It did feel like with a guy playing all the way out west, you'd have to stay up late to watch him, that it was kind of Aaron Judge's to lose in terms of the voting.
But you got a switch hitting catcher who hits 60 home runs. Aaron Judge hits a lot of home runs, and the Yankees were a very good team, as was Seattle. But you got to give a nod to the position, I think, because there are a lot of aspects to this game, and when you go behind the plate as much as he did, and the wear and tear on his body, to me, that was last year's MVP.
To your point, it's not so much just the numbers that you're putting up, it's what's your value to your team. And as the catcher, you're involved in every play.
Every play, and what you have to know dwarfs what an outfielder has to know. I mean, that's just the reality of the game. Catcher's one of the most valuable men on the field.
Drew Romo, the catcher for the White Sox. One ball, two strikes.
And also, one of the things to bear in mind, a couple years ago, he was the Platinum Glove winner. One of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball. So you're not talking about a guy that just puts on the gear. You're talking about a master defensive catcher who can dig it out of the dirt, throw out base stealers, and learn every hitter on the other team as well as every pitcher on the other team.
Sky high into right. And Kelnick will make the catch for out number 2.
This game is brought to you by Marquette Bank. Marquette Bank is Chicagoland's trusted neighborhood bank and home lender. Level up your banking with Marquette Bank at emarquettebank.com. Marquette Bank, love where you bank.
So the first appearance in a White Sox uniform for Trevor Richards. Giving up a single, a strikeout, and fly out to right. As Julio Rodriguez will single into left here, his second hit tonight to go along with a home run.
For the Mariners, this is pretty good news, this ball game, because it looks like Rodriguez and Naylor both are starting to swing the bat very well, and that's 2 of the 3 that they really need to make a bona fide run at it deep into the postseason.
Came into play second in the AL West, a game and a half back of the Athletics. As you know, this will be a team, especially with their starting rotation, that will be in contention late in the season.
And with them, it's really not just a starting rotation, which can be overwhelming, but it's also that bullpen, especially if Munoz starts coming back and showing what he can really do.
Munoz, the 2-time All-Star closer for this Mariners team, suffered his 3rd loss of the season already on Tuesday. He had 3 losses all of last year.
A 6.0 ERA looks like it belongs to somebody else, not him.
This one is hit well into right center field. And it is gone. Josh Naylor continues to terrorize the White Sox. This score has ballooned to 12-5 here in this 8th inning.
Well, the Mariners have their hitting shoes on tonight because they keep hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Grand slam into third. This is another 3-run homer by Naylor, which is usually no surprise against the Sox. 3-run homer last inning by Raley. Solo home run by Rodriguez in the 5th, so it's been the long ball that's helped the Mariners to a very comfortable 7-run lead.
We have seen that trident out 4 times tonight.
Well, too much, yes.
Pounded to the ground at third. As Vargas makes the throw to end this top half of the 8th inning. Josh Naylor with a big blast. A 3-run shot. His 5th home run of the season. Sox fans, join us at the ballpark tomorrow as we celebrate moms and women. Come watch the White Sox as they take on the Mariners at 6:10 p.m. 15,000 fans will receive a women's athleisure jacket presented by Rush. To purchase tickets and prepaid parking, visit whitesox.com/promos. Bottom of the 8th inning. And Vargas gets hit. You hope that's not the hand.
Well, it looks like it is, and he's got some padding on that elbow, but that didn't get the elbow, unfortunately. Tries to get it inside, and this one just keeps following Miguel. Looks like it got him right on the wrist. But hopefully that wrist guard and forearm guard's going to help him on that as Alex Hoppe comes on for the 4th time. ERA of 7.36.
Colson Montgomery with a 3-run double tonight. That was back in the 3rd inning when the Sox scored 4. That tied the game at 5. Mariners scored 1 in the 5th, and they have scored 3 in the 7th and 3 more in the 8th to break this one open.
Leo Rivas checks in the game at third base.
To the count here to Colson Montgomery. We've seen 5 balls leave the yard tonight. 1 for the White Sox, Murakami, and 4 for the Mariners. And this isn't even warm weather yet in Chicago.
Not yet, but most of the home runs have come when the wind has died down completely. I mean, it was a factor earlier in the game and no factor at all right now.
2-2. Broken bat popped up as Young makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. Check in and find out what's coming up on the White Sox postgame live presented by Yingling. Let's send it over to our guys, Chuck and Ozzie.
Well, Ozzie, the White Sox, when they tied this game up, we were feeling really good about this, but then ever since, it's been all Mariners.
Well, the home runs are very victims. You know, the White Sox give off the 4 home runs to the pitching, the White Sox pitching. And what's wrong with your boy Naylor?
We'll talk about Josh Naylor on
We're
the
going to call
postgame show.
Chicago police. Make sure you take care of him the next couple of days.
I'm miserable. Back to you guys.
I feel like there's 2 guys who always seem to terrorize the White Sox. Josh Naylor being one, and the other being Byron Buxton.
Well, there's no doubt. And now that they're both runners, to go with hitting the ball out of the ballpark. So I told you I'd ask you a question, the most underrated superstar in Major League Baseball, because it's something that a lot of people think about. You hear the same names over and over again. Obviously Ohtani and Judge, and there's a few others around the league that fall into that, but there are some guys that you don't hear a whole lot about that are still rated as superstars. And
I think one, he's up there and he gets mentioned, but I don't think he gets mentioned in the same breath as the Aaron Judge and the Ohtanis is Yordan Alvarez. I think he needs to stay healthy more to be in that mix, but a guy who is flirting with the most home runs in Major League Baseball right now, has 13. I think when he stays healthy, he is one of the superstars that maybe doesn't get as much attention as he deserves.
Oh, that's a good one. And for me, it's the guy that we see all the time on the Guardians, is Jose Ramirez.
Yep.
Because he can do everything. And plus, he plays every day. I mean, there's a certain sense of comfort for Stephen Vogt knowing that every day he can write down the name Ramirez. Right-handed, left-handed, doesn't matter. He plays third base. He steals bases, hits the ball out of the park, and that's one of the guys that you just don't hear near as much about, who's really, really something special.
So as Chase Myjuk goes down swinging, out number 2. White Sox fans, create your perfect season with the 10-ticket all-access pack. Get access to the Crosstown Series against the Cubs and choose your games and seats that work best for you and your schedule. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/ticket plans. It's always a fun conversation to have, right? Because there are those names around baseball who just don't get that national attention that they deserve.
Well, I think Alvarez is certainly one of those guys. But maybe he's hurt by not playing defense every day, and he's also hurt because he's been hurt a lot. But keep him in the lineup and healthy, and he's really destructive for the Astros. And bear in mind, that's a right-hand hitter's paradise with the Crawford boxes, but Alvarez can also take it that way.
I'll tell you another name of a guy who will start to get more national attention, Junior Caminero.
Well, if you watch him at all, I mean, he's a stud. I was watching him in his ball game in the last couple of days. He just hits the ball like a rocket.
Benintendi singles into right. Vargas will go first to third with 2 outs here in this 8th inning.
Fastball is up and out over the plate. It's a 4-seamer, and he takes it through the right side, putting runners at the corners.
So you got me looking and searching and just kind of, looking at stats right now. I didn't realize Byron Buxton has 12 home runs already this season, tied for 6th most in Major League Baseball.
All he's got to do is go to the post. I mean, when he plays, and now that he's playing defense every day, I mean, he can turn a game around with his glove.
That is a single into center field as Jared Kelenic drives in his first run in a White Sox uniform. It's a 12-6 ball game here in the 8th.
This is supposed to be either a cutter or a slider, and it's neither. It stays up, taken into center field. 2 hits in an inning. A leadoff hit batsman has proven to be a run at this point, and there's still 4 outs to go. And you never really know how this game plays out.
Tristan Peters slicing it down the line. It's a fair ball. Benintendi, he's waved in and will score. It's now a 12-7 game here in this 8th.
This is a fastball. It's middle in and finds a nice spot to land. Tristan Peters, a walk and a run scored in the 3rd. Drives in a run here with a double. 3rd hit of the inning. And the Sox are not going gently into that fine night. They're still battling.
Couple runners in scoring position, and Cal Raleigh is going to have to talk to his pitcher.
Last thing Dan Wilson wants to do is have to go to that bullpen, and there's Cooper Criswell. Side-wheeling right-hander. Thought he might be able to get through this without using any additional pensman. And you never know, when you score runs late, even if you don't win the game, you force them to use another reliever or two, might affect the last 2 games of the series.
Well, the crowd is sticking around because it is fireworks night here on Friday. So there's still plenty of juice here at the rate, especially if Drew Romo can come through here with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Murakami's going to hit again, one way or the other. So after Romo, it's going to be the top of the order. Sox are assured 4 more outs.
2 balls, no strikes. Romo, that one is caught by Young, and that will end the threat. The Sox pick up 2 here in the 8th inning. We will go to the 9th.
The memorable moments is presented by Prevagen, and it's the long ball that's really helped Seattle. That's the second one by Rodriguez. Raley hit a pair. And of course, the ever-present terror, Josh Naylor, once again hit one out. Sir Anthony Dominguez comes on to pick up an inning.
So this is the closer for the White Sox as Luis Angel Acuna comes into the game defensively to play second base. But you always like to say you got to keep your closer active even if it isn't a save situation.
Yeah, they've got to get an inning every now and then, because when you do put them in to close out a game, last thing you need is walks, and inactivity will produce walks even with guys with pretty good control.
0-2. What have you thought about the job of Dominguez and what he's done so far this season?
I think he's done a very good job. You know, this is a guy that has saved games, but he's never been a full-time closer. Sox showed a lot of confidence in him, giving him a 2-year contract to close.
It's the ground ball to Acuna, just entered the game. And there's one away to start this 9th. Test your luck during every home White Sox game this season with the Sox Split 50-50 raffle. Tickets are on sale until the end of this 9th inning. You can play now at whitesox.com/Sox Split. It is valid for Illinois residents 18 and over. Good crowd here, over 23,000. So the Sox Split is approaching 14,000 right now here in this 9th inning.
Another factor, when you employ a closer and designate him as a closer, when you haven't really needed one for 3 years, you're showing the club that you believe that club is going to be better and need a guy like Dominguez at the back end. So I think it served a twofold purpose. Number one, you have a designated closer for the first time in a while, and 2, you show your ball club that you believe you're going to need that, which means you're going to win some games late and have to protect them.
It was a big move in the offseason, but unfortunately this man at the plate has been the difference tonight. Luke Raley with a grand slam and a 3-run home run, a career high 7 runs driven in tonight. Steve, his previous high was 3 in a game. He has blown it out of the water tonight.
Well, it's a night to remember for him, certainly. And he's been the big difference in this one.
2-2. Also the 12 runs allowed tonight here. It's the second most this season that the White Sox have allowed. They allowed 14 on opening day against the Brewers.
The real oddity of this game is the major rallies in the third and again in the eighth. The seventh, rather, were started with 2 outs and nobody on. This Sunday at Wright Field, the White Sox and Mariners headline Kids Sunday on CHSN. Get ready for a broadcast packed with fun, including a special lineup announcer, unique graphics, and a spotlight on the White Sox Ace program. It's a day made for young Sox fans. Stream it on the CHSN app. Chicago Sports Network. Full stream ahead.
Plenty of kids in the ballpark here tonight on this Friday night. We certainly appreciate everybody tuning in here on CHSN and our friends on WCIU The View. The U, and obviously hasn't been the outcome we were looking for from this White Sox team. A few too many home runs given up tonight here against the Mariners. Rob Refsnyder pinch hit back in the 6th inning. He is 0 for 2. Sir Anthony Dominguez looking for a 1-2-3 9th inning. 1-2 pitch. Got him upstairs. Strike 3. Well, it's time to put on the rally caps. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Get out! Murakami setting off the fireworks here on Friday night. Montgomery clears the bases, and the rate is fired up. Second home run of the night for Luke Raley.
7 runs driven in.
3rd career multi-home run game for Luke Raley. Welcome back to the Rate here. Bottom of the 9th. White Sox need a little comeback here in this opener of this 3-game set against the Mariners.
Mariners have done it tonight with the long ball. And Randall Grichuk comes on for pinch hitting appearance. Josh Simpson last season with Miami, 31 games, ERA a little higher than he would like.
Grichuk sends this one down the line in left field, and it's off the foul pole. That's how you get the 9th inning started. Grichuk, his first home run in a White Sox uniform. So you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance. This team, regardless of what it looks like, is not going to lay down for anybody. Randall Grichuk takes it down the line. It hits the wire right next to the foul pole. I would have liked to have seen how far this one's going to go, because he got just about all of this. You see it right there. I mean, it's a blast. And it's a 4-run game.
Murakami at the dish, takes that first pitch, strike 1.
Sox would like to get Criswell in this game, because that's somebody that Dan Wilson does not want to use. He's had him up. He hasn't been in the game yet.
Big cut from Murakami, behind in the count 0-2. 4-run game here in the bottom of the ninth.
Few fireworks before the fireworks.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Murakami down the line. Will it stay fair? And foul. Ooh.
Mark Ripperger right down the line, and that one looks like it had the length, but not the direction. A towering fly ball and a hanging slider. And Munetaka wants to put a little English on it, but goes foul.
1-2. High out of the zone. As the smoke from the fireworks from Grichuk's home run continue to billow here at the rate. Let's keep setting them off. Two balls, 2 strikes. Murakami goes down swinging.
Time now for the Toyota Let's Go Places upcoming schedule. And it's Seattle for 2 more before the off day on Monday. Then Kansas City comes to town. It's the Cubs for 3. It's a 10-day, 9-game homestand, the longest of the year.
And if you're wondering, there are still good seats available for the Crosstown Series. So the weather's going to be good. Make sure to clear your calendar and head out to the rate, especially for the Crosstown Series.
That's going to be a very exciting series.
Pitch to the right side. It is Young at second as Vargas is retired and the Sox down to their final out of the ball game. Last chance will be Colson Montgomery. Any big takeaways from you to start this series here against the Mariners?
Well, I think the Sox showed that there's a lot of offense on this team. It was one of those days where pitching staff, which has been very dependable, just had a bit of a letdown today. Once you get 2 outs in an inning, it's real hard to see 7 runs scored after that, and all 7 runs scored with 2 outs and nobody on. So somewhere along the line, Sox will learn they will shut the door in those situations. Tonight was just Seattle's night. They hit the ball out of the park consistently, and at the end of the day, this is still a very good pen. I look at the record of Seattle and I realize, and I'm sure Dan Wilson feels the same way, this Mariner team is a much better team than they've shown in the early going. And when they do get things together, as we saw tonight, they have a lot of power. They have very good pitching, both out of the pen and in the rotation, and they're going to be a force in the West.
Colson Montgomery down to his final strike of the night. 1-2. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it.
Well, tomorrow the game starts a half hour earlier, and it'll still be these 2 teams hooking up. It was very lively tonight. Hopefully more fireworks tomorrow, but more on the Sox side of the equation. So get your rest, and I'll see you then.
I appreciate that. We saw 6 long balls tonight, 4 from the Mariners, 2 from the Sox. Well, the Mariners, they will take the opener of this 3-game set 12-8 against your Chicago White Sox. For Brooke Fletcher, Connor McKnight, Steve Stone, I'm John Schriffen. Thank you so much for spending your Friday night with us. And it's time now for White Sox Postgame Live presented by Yingling. We send it to our guys. Chuck, Ozzie, it's all yours.
All right, Ozzie, that was obviously not